Let's talk about Azure Repos. What are Azure Repos and why should you kind of learn them? So Azure Repos is a set of version control that lets you manage your code, whether you are project working in a large team or working single-handedly. Version control helps you stay organized and help you keep a track of changes, what's happening in the team. You might or might not have heard about GitLab, Bitbucket, GitHub, which is the standard to for your version controlling system that helps you track changes. Azure DevOps are pretty similar. It kind of comes in two versions. One is Git, which is the distributed version control like Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, and another one is Team Foundation version control. Foundation version control helps team member have only one version of each file on their dev machines. It maintains only one server and keeps the data. Branches are path based and created on the server again. In this video, we're going to talk about Git, which is the most commonly used version control system and today, and is quickly becoming the de facto for versioning your code. So we are onto the project in our Azure DevOps, which was formerly Visual Studio Team Services as well. So if you go to the repos, you would see that we do not have got any repo at the moment. We do not have any directory. What we're going to do is we're going to create our own repo. We do that by going over here on the arrow, and you see that there are no repo at the moment. We click on the new repo and we kind of say my first Azure DevOps repo, and add a readme as well, add a get ignore as well. We're going to talk all about them. Alright, we've got the repo. We've got a simple, neat and clean repo in our Azure repos. We want to clone this repo onto our local system so that we can make changes and start pushing the code onto the Azure DevOps as well, so that everybody in your team kind of is aware what's happening in these repo. What we're going to do is you can use HTTPS or SSH. If you're working on a Linux or a bash kind of profile, you can use this SSH and hit on the clone and go to your terminal. I'm using a Visual Studio Code editor. You can use any of the code editor basis your choice. I'm onto a fresh repo where we've got nothing in it. I'm do a git clone and then the repo URL. If I hit enter, I'm gonna be prompted with an error because my terminal doesn't, Azure DevOps doesn't trust my computer. Anybody can clone my system, right? So there has to be a mechanism wherein Azure Repos or Azure DevOps trust my system, and I can kind of talk to my terminal, or my local system can talk to Azure DevOps to push or pull the code changes. So what we're gonna do is for that we're gonna pull up our secret SSH key. We do that by the SSH keys are normally kept on .ssh folder with the name of IDSA pub. I'm gonna expand it. I'm gonna copy this and put that into my Azure repo. Go to the manage SSH key right over here. Click on the new key and Shan key. Put it right over here and add. If you want, you can remove the SSH key as well too if you have changed your system or something like that. Now if you try to clone, you would see that it lets you in. So if I clear my screen and do a git clone, alright, the repo has been cloned, and if I go to my repo, you would see that it has got a single file, a readme, and yeah, that's pretty much all. If I you can see that which branch it is in. It is currently at the master branch because we have got only one branch at the moment. What you can do is let's suppose you're working in the team and you don't want to push everything on the master. What you can do is you can simply create your own branch. To see all the branches, you do git branch -a, and to create a new branch you say git branch and probably Shan new branch, and you will see that the branch has been created. You want to check out to your branch means currently your pointer is on the master branch. However, you would like to put your pointer onto this particular branch so that whatever changes you make stays on this branch rather than the master branch. And that's the approach you generally follow, because you don't want to push your changes directly to the master. You want to create your own branch, push your changes over there, and then somebody approves, reviews it, and then you push it to the master. All those things we're going to do over the next few videos. So alright, we have got our branch open. I'm gonna open a folder. I'm gonna go to the desktop and go to Azure Repos, open this, and I've got my terminal restarted. Alright, I've got my terminal open, and then I've got the readme as well. If I simply pull this up, it kind of gives me what is in the readme. So let's check the branch. We are on the shan new branch. Let's make some new changes. Let's probably add some more fields, and let's talk about integration testing, and let's say to do we would be doing some integration smoke unit tests as well. Alright, now if you do a get status, you would see that you have edited the readme and that's what it has detected, and you want to push these changes to your Git repo. At the moment your Azure Repos doesn't have anything. It doesn't have any changes you have pushed doing it locally. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do a git add and stage these commits. So to add all the folders or all the files, you do a dot and hit enter. And now if you do a get status, you would see that it is turned into a stage. So these are now stage. You commit your changes. By committing, you create a snapshot of your changes, edited, and you enter. You commit by typing git commit -m and then the comments, edited the readme, and then what you do is you do git push. Since this is not your master branch, you push the changes by using get push -- set upstream and then origin and then your branch. If you now enter, all your changes gonna be pushed to your Azure repos. If you hit a refresh, you would see that all your changes are being pushed onto the Azure repo. You see that you updated a new branch, which is this, and you can go to the history and see what are the changes you just made. We would see that that's the change we did a couple of minutes back, and now our changes are being pushed on the repo. Alright, that was about making changes, and if you see that you've got your new branch over here as well. You can create new branch from the UI as well rather than creating it from the terminal. You can simply create a new branch using the UI and type in create UI, and then you can kind of pull your changes, whether you want to pull your changes from master or the new branch. So you can select whatever is deemed appropriate. You can also link your branch with a work item, or if you're working on a story or a work item, you can simply link your branch with that particular workout item. At the moment we do not have any, hence we would not be attaching this. However, in the future videos we would have work items and attaching our work or changes with the particular work item. Alright, so we've got our branch created UI. If you go over here and alright, let's hit probably. So if you go over here, if you do a grid branch -a, you would notice that you've got the create UI branch as well, which you created using the UI. So that was about how you create a new branch and kind of create your own branch, new UIs, new repos, and push your branch changes onto Azure Repos. However, you might be working on some of the other Git tools, versioning tools like Bitbucket, GitLab, or GitHub, and you might wanna migrate those repos or import those repos from GitHub to your Azure repos. You can do them as well. Let's suppose I do have a repo. I have this sample repo. This is a public repo. So what you can do is you can simply click on copy the repo branch URL, go to your Azure repos and click over here in the drag down. You click on the import repository and you can select the type of repo since it's a Git, and then you type in the Azure repo. It doesn't require any authentication at the moment. That's why we're going to select as Azure repos, and then we don't require any authentication. We're going to simply click on import and it would say that your import is on its way, and within a few minutes, basis on how heavy or how big your repo is going to be, it's going to import all your repository to this. So you would see that your repos has been now imported, and all the changes you had in your GitHub or GitLab you now see onto the Azure repos as well. Now you've got your Azure repos, your GitHub changes, your GitHub repo onto the Azure, and you can simply see what are the branches you have. You can simply clone this as well, like we did in our fetch repo. So you can simply click on the clone, go over here, clear the screen, and type in git, probably go a little back and type in git clone and then the repo URL. You would see that it's gonna copy the repo right onto your local, and now you can simply start creating your own branch or tags and start pushing the changes. So just in case, you can create as many as private repos you want. You can go over here and import it, click the type in the repo names. If you have a private repo, generally if you're working on in a company and you want to migrate your GitLab or GitHub repos to your Azure repos, what you can do is, since these repos not going to be publicly available, you can do is require authentication. You can type in username and password, and then you can type the password or the pat are the tokens available in your GitHub. So if you go and sign up into your GitHub, you would on the settings section you would see how to generate a pat token as well. You simply enter the pat token and hit on import again, and your private repos are good to be imported into Azure repos as well. Alright, so our next repos are importing, and that's gonna be done in a few seconds, and that's been done. If you click over here, you see that all your repos are kind of imported. Cool. I think that's pretty much for now. I'll see you in a while, and we're gonna create some more changes on our local repo, and we're gonna learn in the next video how to create a pull request and get it approved by our fellow team members. I'll see you in a while. Thanks.